Alright, and welcome back. As you can see, I'm continuing to work on the rudder. I've fast forwarded a little bit from the previous video, trying to save everyone's sanity and kind of get rid of some of the monotonous stuff. So I now have both skins on cleat and am getting everything to match drill. Right now I'm working on the trailing edge, and you'll see me in this video start drilling the holes for match drilling through the trailing edge wedge as I start here. The instructions have you start from the middle and work your way out, and I'm not sure that it makes much of a difference, but you know what Van says, and you do. So started out from the middle going out, and then switch the clicos over and do the same thing with the rest of the holes for the trailing edge. Now again, this is the trailing edge that I eventually replace because I messed up and used the wrong double-sided tape. The double-sided tape that Vans recommends you use is significantly thinner than what or at least what I was able to find at the local Ace hardware store. And the one that I got was the, I would call it padded double-sided tape. It's just a little thicker. It wasn't a foam padding or anything. It was just a thicker adhesive. So when you put the two layers on, one on each side of the trailing edge, it made the trailing edge too thick, and you couldn't set the rivets. It was too thick for the size rivets they were calling for. And once I started looking into having to use larger size rivets, that's when I figured, that's probably not the right way to go. And so I looked up on Vans Aircraft on their website, and they had the model that they recommend, the model of double-sided tape, and it's a 3M product. So I've since last night, just before editing this video, I installed the replacement trailing edge wedge, and I used the tape that was recommended, and it's a significant difference. The trailing edge actually looks like a trailing edge, and you can't make out the tape itself. So it's definitely the right way to go. The reason I had to replace the trailing edge is when I went to remove it, obviously it was installed with the double-sided tape in, and I had to basically force it back out and strip away the double-sided tape while it was installed, because I had already riveted the entire rudder together with the exception of the trailing edge. So I couldn't just take the skins apart and pull it off. I had to use a screwdriver basically to scrape out the double-sided tape that was in there, and once that was out, then I could pull the wedge. Unfortunately, I got a little too eager to pull the wedge, and it was stuck, and it ended up folding, and so I had to replace it. So anyway, so yeah, here I've fast forwarded a little bit. I've finished pre-drilling. You end up match drilling the trailing edge and then the upper rib. As I was discussing in the previous videos, you don't actually have to match drill these holes where the stiffeners will be attached. This is where, one of the areas that Van's machining has made it that the holes are the final size for the skins here. So there's only some of them that you have to actually match drill. So anyway, with the trailing edge, like I said, as of editing this video, I got the new piece drilled out, countersunk, and the correct double-sided tape applied to it, and was able to kind of shimmy it in place with the tape cover that protects the adhesive. I left one side of it on, the side that's facing out, so that way I could slide it in and then peel back the paper as I was going down the trailing edge and setting clicos. So I was able to slide it in. So just I would highly recommend that you get the right style of double-sided tape. It definitely made for a headache. So as I'm pulling this apart, you can see how the skeleton sits inside the skins. The stiffeners lead up right up to the trailing edge there, and then now I'm going to go through the process of taking the skeleton apart, and then eventually start attaching the stiffeners to the skin. And again, coming up here, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Just there you go. No sense in showing a video of removing clecos for 5 minutes. So as I pull this apart, now I'm going to get into preparing the skins for attaching the trailing edge wedge. So when you first put the trailing edge wedge on, it had you mark both the length of the wedge to trim it down to size, but also to mark the I would call it the forward end of the wedge on the skin. And the reason you did that is right here. I'm going to go through and you mark up the trailing edge with a Scotch-Brite pad, and basically you're just trying to rough up the surface so that the adhesive on the tape has a better surface to adhere to. So you mark it up, and then, as I've said before, I'm putting primer on the skins where the ribs will meet up. So I'll go through and mark it all up, and then cover it with painter's tape to protect it, and then as I'm doing here, and then that way I can apply a primer and not spray it onto the area that I just prepared for the trailing edge. So yeah, like I said, it has you mark it up, mark it with a marker or something toward that effect to make it or protect the area, and then I protect it with tape so that you can spray it and not worry about getting onto the area you just marked up. So I do that to both skins, and I was able to just basically reuse the same piece because the tape is wide enough. And so here, just marking it up, and then use the tape that I trimmed off of the first one to apply. And then the next video, I believe, will be applying primer and then starting to set the stiffeners onto the skins. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let this video run out, and we'll see you on the next video. Again, I appreciate those that continue to follow, and if you get a chance, hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Hopefully others will be able to come across these videos and gain some use, or at least get an idea of what they may be getting themselves into should they decide to go with a build on the RV-14. It's been a fun process so far. As of editing this video, I have now completed the vertical stabilizer. Finally went back and attached the skins, and got that completed. And the rudder is almost complete. Like I said earlier, I just reinstalled the new trailing edge, and should have the rudder done today. So I'll get those videos out as soon as I can. So again, thanks for watching.